So that's not actually how they recommend to do it.
Hi guys, welcome back to another video on the 2023 Audi A4. In the last video, I determined that there was some engine damage as a result of the accident that this car was in, and this is being run with no oil. There's some evidence of pretty bad scoring. It dropped its oil and caused some internal damage, so I decided I was just going to replace the engine. I'm going to install it. We're going to get this old engine out and put it in here. So let's just get cracking. There's a lot of work to do. Let's do it. So making a fair bit of progress here. I've got most of the stuff to the sides, the back, the top, all removed. I think what will be a good idea, just for completeness, I'm just going to put the rocker cover back on, put the front covers on, just to make it a complete unit for when I go to take it out. So I'm just going to do that just now. I'm going to try and actually split the gearbox from the engine while it's in place. I'll just show you, but I've made hopefully enough room to get all of the bell housing bolts off. So just so you can see, so there's the bolts themselves. You can see that sort of spline head arrangement. I think they call them triple squares, but so you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, and then there's some on the bottom as well. Hopefully that's going to give me enough room to actually separate the gearbox from the engine. I'm going to remove those bell housing bolts and try and get this engine completely detached from the car, minus the engine mounts. And then I'm going to get a hoist on here, remove the mounts, and this engine should come away from the car. So let's start doing that. Uh-oh, the supervisor's in. Am I doing a good job? Oh, backup's arrived. Hello dogs. So I've got company now. So I've removed all of the bell housing bolts that I can get access to from the top. The bolts are actually not all the same length. So I've created this little template for me to actually put the bolts into. Just to make sure that I don't get mixed up as to what length goes where. So now I can put the car up in the air and hopefully remove the bell housing bolts from the bottom then. Right, let's do it. So this might be the reason that people take the subframe off to do this job, but I'm still going to proceed as I've been going. So there's a bell housing bolt there, but then there's one there, just below that air column line there, and then there's one there, both of which are quite easy to get to. That was no joke. I've got 8 bell housing bolts. The 2 at the bottom you can see are a slightly smaller size. They're 16mm triple square drives, and the others are 18mm. So I think the gearbox and engine should now be separated. I've also got to take the band clamp off for the cat going to the turbos. So yeah, there's the band clamp there. Yeah, now that V-band clamp is off the turbo, I think this section of the arch liner needs to come out. Because the engine mount is right there. So I'll just whip these both off both sides and see if that gives us access. For those of us that work on cars, there's always a moment where you see something that you didn't expect and you think, what have I done? I've made a complete mistake, but I just went through that. Luckily, it was panic over nothing. I'll show you what I saw. I took this side. This is obviously where the impact happened here. I took the arch liner out of here first. When I took that out, I saw this, which is a lovely straight chassis leg with, I'm not sure what the best angle is, but with what looks like a massive dent in there. That is, see if I can get a better angle. Can you see that? And I thought the wheel has hit there, deformed the chassis leg right here. And I thought that this project went from some work to a lot of work to just not making sense. But then what I did before I started panicking too much was remove this side. And as you can see just from the shadow that the light is casting there, that is exactly the same. And then there's another indent for the actual strut, and they look identical. I now have the chassis leg visible to right back there on both sides, and there is no evidence of any damage to this. I have compared it, I've measured it, I've done lots of work behind making that analysis, and thankfully that's the case. So yeah, that was a scare, but we're all good, just as we were. So I have now removed both arch liners. You can see there, this is the engine mount here. So this is going to give me access to actually disconnect that on both sides then. But I have just noticed one area that needs some more systems disconnected. So it looks like that is the cable that goes up to the actual terminals to allow you to jump this from the front. So I'm assuming that there's a ground here as well that's connected and goes up there. There's a few grounds here. I'm assuming one of these somewhere goes to the starter motor too. I'm going to need to find that because that's something else that I've not disconnected. So yeah, it's just really minor stuff now. I'm just going to remove these from the car. So I'm nearly ready to take this engine out, but I just wanted to show you this has just arrived here. So this is the replacement engine. I'm just going to open it up and just inspect and just make sure it looks roughly the same as what's coming out of the car. So I'll just do that now. I'll remove this plastic and have a look. So yeah, you can see obviously there's this strapping and stuff on here, but in general it looks the same. I'll check the actual engine code and stuff, but yeah, quite happy with the condition of it too. It looks quite new. So it's annoying because in the photos I saw all this wiring harness here was all included. It's also got like the turbo and everything is still on here, and I was quite delighted with what it all came with, but I've noticed that all the wiring is all cut. All these hoses are cut. So I'm quite glad that I actually, on my car, I started unplugging everything and leaving the harness on the car, because it means I can put the new engine in and just flop that back over and plug everything in. So yeah, let's continue. Let's get this down and I'll take the rest of the stuff off of here that I need to take off, and we'll get that engine out. Right, so I think that's everything off now. The only thing that I'm wrestling with is the starter motor. So obviously, if I show you on the new engine, so here's the starter motor here. And as you can see, there's a bolt here and a bolt down there. Obviously, that actually connects with the flywheel itself, and that they screw into the gearbox. So long story short, these two screws need to be removed so that I can get that the engine out, because as you can see, if I leave that bolted to the gearbox, you're not going to get the engine past that. Yeah, there's no other way around it. I'm going to have to remove the actual cap off of the exhaust to try and get access to this bolt. I can just see that bolt. I'll show you. So that bolt that I just pointed to is, that bolt is up there. But it's up there, that's the bottom one. So the top one is going to be behind this here, which is behind the cat. So I'm going to need to remove that cat at the very least so that I can get access to that. Yeah, I'll just start removing that cat to see if I can get the starter off. So you can see that that bolt is now out and it's now hitting the engine mount, but it's out as far as I can get it, and it's cleared the actual gearbox now. So that was at least 2 hours. I ended up having to go up through here, and I cut about 3 different sockets trying to get it to actually fit in between the engine mount and the head of that bolt, and bent some spanners to try and maneuver them in there. So I got it eventually. So there's these kind of drop link looking things that go from the engine mount to the actual subframe. I'm going to need to take those out, and then I think I can just, I think it's up there, that triple square screw in there. Right, so I have the torque converter off, sitting over there now. So I've decided to keep the one that's in the car on the car, just because it means taking the drive shafts out and everything. This car's obviously been in an accident, so I hope that torque converter is okay, but I'll just need to put that other one in if this turns out to be faulty. But it was running and driving just with a knocky engine, so yeah, I'm going to stick with that one. This is just a quick cut-in and a sort of progress update here. So as you can see, the new engine is completely in. I have done all the bell housing bolts, both engine mounts. So the engine is officially in and now attached to the gearbox. The only thing that I have to do is go in through the inspection port in the gearbox and turn it over and put the torque converter bolts in to actually secure the inside of the engine to the inside of the gearbox. So as you can see, this is the total access that I have to the back of the engine, and that's after taking this cover which goes down the back there, taking it off. So just by slithering a hand in here, 1, 2, 3, that's all bell housing bolts, these 3. And then that one down there is the other half of the starter motor. You can see the starter motor spacer in there. It was quite a lot of hard work trying to get those in. It's just the access that's the problem. The starter motor in particular is at the back of the engine, but faces towards the back of the car. So you have to screw it in from this way. So I'm basically, as long as my arm can reach, trying to get this bolt in, like sort of 10 degrees at a time sort of thing. So anyway, I think once I do the torque converter bolts, that is the gearbox and engine officially together. I'm going to torque those to spec, but they're tight. Everything's fastened now. So just a bit of an update here. I have everything connected, I believe. All the bell housing bolts are all torqued to spec. I've got the starter motor plumbed in. I've done all the earths that go down here under that chassis leg and up to the terminals. I've done all the wiring. I did the coolant lines, they're all plumbed in where they need to go. Obviously I don't have a rad pack yet, it's on its way, but the hoses are sitting waiting for that. I think I've pretty much got everything. The only things left to do now before I crank this is I'm going to put the expansion bottle in, because I couldn't figure out where this plug went. There's a plug down here attached to the loom where the AC condenser plug is. I couldn't understand where it went, but obviously there's going to be a minimum coolant level sensor in that bottle, so I'm going to put it in and I'm going to put the air box in, and I think pretty much ready for a start. I don't know why anyone would sell an engine with oil in it, but because there's no dipstick, we have another plug. I'm going to open the sump plug to make sure that there's no oil in it, and then I'm going to fill it with fresh oil. So yeah, we're moving pretty fast here, so I think we're pretty much ready for a start, so let's just keep going. We'll hear if this thing cranks over or not very soon. I'm going to read codes. That should tell me if I've forgotten a sensor or anything, but I'm pretty sure I've got everything. I'm pretty confident, so yeah, let's just give this one last check, and let's give it a start and hear if this has gone well or not. Right, so let's crack this sump plug now to see if there's actually any oil in this. There is a little bit of oil in there, but it doesn't look anything untoward. Don't get me wrong, it looks very old, but it doesn't look like there's coolant in it. It doesn't look like there's any flakes in it or anything, so yeah, I think that's going to be okay. So yeah, I'll just let that drain out and then I'll put the plug back in, go up, put some oil back in, and we'll take it from there. Okay, so it has 5 litres of new oil in there. Now I need to connect the battery. The battery sitting down here. I need to put that back in there, and yeah, run a fault scan for any codes. Just see if there's anything that maybe I've not plugged in. I've read all the codes, so there's no worries about any codes that I've got here. I got one saying about low power and lost communication with the body control module, the BCM. So I don't know, is that just because the charger, I've got it on a very low setting just to sort of trickle some energy because I don't want to try and start it yet. So maybe there's not enough power in the battery and it's struggling to communicate between the modules. I don't know, but anyway, that is the only thing on here that looks to be anything that might prevent this car from starting. I think I'm just going to crank it. There's nothing on here that's basically going to prevent it from cranking or do damage or anything, and it's got all the oil that it needs in it. So obviously I've got no radiators or anything or intercooler, so even if it does start up, it's probably going to run rough anyway, but I just want to see if it actually cranks. So yeah, let's put the camera outside and fingers crossed, give it a crank and see if it actually does anything. So let's do it. So this is the moment of truth. I have disconnected the coil packs, so hopefully this shouldn't fire, but I'm hoping it cranks. So let me just set the camera here, and yeah. No fuel or oil leaks under the car. I'm just cranking it, and I'm going to give it a 30 seconds between cranks to let the starter motor cool down, and I'm going to keep going through the cycles to try and build up that oil pressure. But yeah, really happy it's cranking. So to me, that sounds like I've not missed any grounds or sensors off. We'll see when it actually fires and see if it goes into gear, but it's looking promising. While I'm waiting on this cooling down, I'm going to read the codes again just in case with it cranking any systems realise that there's any sort of error or disconnected sensor or anything. So I'll do that, and if that's all good, I'm going to hit the start button with the coils that are now plugged in here. So let's do it. Yep, we're all good. The only errors that came on the dash were for the coils being unplugged. So yeah, there's nothing in the codes that seem to suggest that this won't start. So coils are plugged in, let's do it. So guys, a lot of work covered in this video. We have the new engine fitted, and I think we're on the right track here. As you can see, it fired up, starts, no problem at all. I won't know fully how well this actual engine swap goes because as you can see, there's no intercooler on here, so the turbo is just sitting exposed just now. There's no actual airbox connected or anything at the moment, so it's not going to run right, but it's running and it sounds healthy and everything. So I've got a full front end, including a full rad pack on its way home for this car. So as soon as that comes home, we're going to get straight into it and start fixing we're going to get the cooling system and everything mechanically sorted, and then we're going to start putting some body panels on this. So I think I've got everything I need to get this car back 100%, and we're getting very close now. I think it's just a case of buttoning this up. That's the hardest part done. We're over the hump. So yeah, it's just let's just keep going with this. Thank you very much for watching as well. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to see where this build goes, please give my channel a subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. And I've got a brand new build sitting outside the workshop too, which I'm going to introduce to the channel and start making some progress on too, just while I'm waiting on bits for this. So thanks very much, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.